Did you come into this world feeling like you were an outsider? Did you come in here realizing that there was so much more to you than just what you experienced around you? That you could see when the room shifted, when someone entered it, you could see how your mood shifted in certain situations, in certain environments. I created this course for you because you are already aware of your energy field. I am Uma Naidu, and I am here to guide you and tell you how to harness the power of your energy fields. Why am I doing this? How did I get here? Why do I even care? My life has gone from a space of severe depression to a life of purpose, of joy, of love, of connection. When I was a little girl, I could see beyond what people were saying. I understood the messages that I was receiving, but that was pushed down. That was punished. It was something that I got to a point where I decided to give up. And so I gave in. I gave in to the belief that I was worthless, that I was dumb, ugly. I gave into it all. And so I dimmed my light. I stopped doing all the things I loved and I started doing what I thought people would love me for. So, as I grew up and became a teenager, I developed body dysmorphia and I hated everything about myself. I constantly judged myself. I developed eating disorders. It messed up my relationship with food. I went from being super skinny and not ever wanting to eat, also having a chronic constipation issue as a child, to not caring what I ate and to comforting and soothing myself with food. So, food was never a form of nutrition for me. And that was just a symptom. From there, I continued to depress myself, to depress my true self. This is what depression is, it's a depression of your true self. And when your soul realizes that you are living a life that is not true to you, that is not honoring who you are, you start to see signs and you start to basically want to leave this life, which has been a huge part of my experience. So I studied mechanical engineering and even qualified. I worked at a power station, but I never felt joyful. I never experienced the joy that I saw other people experiencing around me. I always felt like something was wrong with me. I felt like there was some secret code that I could never crack, that I would always be living completely dependent on the approval and the attention of others. I got married, I fell deeply in love, and then I had two children. And this shifted everything because now it was bigger than me. Okay, it was these little humans that depended on me and that I loved so much, but at the same time felt unworthy of. I would see things in them and just feel like I don't know how they came through me. I don't know what I did to deserve it, and I am not good enough to be their mother. This theme of not good enough, it carried through all my life. And it still does. There are still elements of this that I am healing. And it's what the world teaches us. It's what the world tells us, that you are never doing enough, you are never thin enough, you are never pretty enough, you know? So we end up always feeling that there's something missing, like there's something wrong with us. And for me, that dictated everything around me. I walked into every space feeling like I was unworthy. And obviously, that became a self fulfilling prophecy. I would sabotage myself. I would make sure that I don't show up as my best. Because what I had learned was that my best would never be enough. And I know that if this is resonating with you, you understand what that feels like. I know that you have lived these experiences to some extent. So, my physical body had been holding a lot of tension, especially in my shoulders. I would get sick often and I would struggle to get better. My immune system didn't want to kick in because it was always on. It was fighting these invisible battles that I didn't even know. And I came across as a very efficient, productive person, a good mother, a good wife, a good daughter, a good everything. The one person I was failing was myself. So I decided that something had to change. And I knew that I was betraying myself with the career path that I chose it for the wrong decisions. But I could not leave because that would equate to me being a failure. And obviously, when your soul knows that something is not meant for you and it sends you that message, but you keep avoiding it, you push it aside, you make all the excuses, the universe will step in. And that's exactly what happened to me. The universe stepped in. I forgot to put on my mic, so I'm going to switch it on now. So, the universe stepped in. And when the universe stepped in, what happened was that I had to leave. And this is how the universe works. If you don't have the courage to leave something, you will be forced to. You will be pushed. You will be nudged. The voices will get louder and the space around you becomes more difficult to stay in. This could apply to a relationship, to a place that you live in, literally everything and anything. So my physical body was where it all began. And it actually was a combination of the level of my mind, which was mental, psychological, emotional, which it dictates. It's that communication that's happening between the mind and the body. And that depression was coming through my body as tears. It was coming through my body as exhaustion. There were so many signs that I pushed aside and just forged ahead with. Eventually, I did resign from my job and I felt extremely lost because that one thing that defined me was no longer there. So the next thing was my family, which I valued and loved and cherished. And I still do. This is a huge value in my life. It's one of my top priorities. But I took them and created this dynamic where all my self-worth was dependent on me being needed, which as a mother it's a great recipe because your kids have to need you. Their very lives depend on you. And every time I felt like someone did not react or respond in the way that I was expecting, I was disappointed, I was upset. The day came when I would always have bursts of emotions and cry or push it away and get too busy or numb myself. But I got to a state where I was just crying all the time. And I decided to go for therapy. When I went to therapy, I always knew something was off. And that's one of the reasons I avoided therapy. A few weeks after starting therapy, my therapist said to me that she needs to do the test to see if I'm depressed. And I was like, no, not me. Definitely not me. I never thought it was that bad. And I had always read how bad it was for the brain. So she did the test. And it came out as severely depressed, which did not make sense in my mind because I thought I was so happy. I had gotten so used to that mask that I put on, that face that I put on, that I was in complete denial. And then it all came crashing down one day when I couldn't move my body. It was like I needed permission to give up, which now I look more as surrender. Once I received that diagnosis, everything came flooding in. Everything, my whole life was flashing before me. All the times that I wished I was not there, all the times that I attempted to leave, everything came flooding back. And that was the beginning of my journey of awakening. There had been glimmers all my life where I loved helping people, but I had been betrayed and heartbroken so many times that I avoided people. I avoided close relationships. It scared me because I always felt like it would end in betrayal because that was my only experience. I lived in that fear. I thought that I was not worthy of anything more. And when you feel a certain way about people externally in relationships, that's exactly the relationship you are having with yourself. That is what it's a reflection of. And so I began that journey. I went on the medication. I went through 2 years of therapy. But as I was doing this therapy, I found yoga, which I thought was very physical because I, at that time, was working out to the point of exhaustion. And it was because I was so obsessed with not putting on weight, with not being fat, that I would literally kill myself in the gym. I had nothing left. But at the same time, it was relieving stress. It was just a very unhealthy relationship. So I found yoga, which I read that was good for your mind. It was going to calm your mind. And I loved it so much. I just started by following YouTube videos. And something was happening. I couldn't explain it, but I was just feeling so much better. It felt like 10 therapy sessions. What was actually happening is that it was unblocking the energy centers on a very physical level. But combined with the breath work, it was a magical, beautiful channel for me towards my healing. I loved it so much, and even though I was not very flexible and I was not very fit, I enrolled to do yoga teacher training, and I loved it. I dived into the theory, and what always caught my attention was the chakra system. I knew that there was something more to this. I just knew that it held like these secrets. It was like a clue. And I couldn't shake it. I started diving into the ancient philosophy behind it and reading all about it and then starting to experiment with it, with the colors and what it meant, and drawing links to issues I had within my body and the people around me. And that's when I realized that my whole approach to my physical health was wrong. The eating disorders were always there in the background, and I low-key knew it. I just could never face it. So then I decided to enroll for holistic health coaching. Despite everything around me, despite the financial constraints, despite being so busy and feeling like I had to sacrifice my family for this, I did it. And I balanced my time. I had a lot on my plate because I was handling everything with my kids and the family, and it felt like a full-time job, but this brought me so much of joy. I loved learning about it. I loved learning about the body. And I so regretted why I hadn't gone down that path. But a part of me understood that there's a reason, you know. Because when I reflected on my life, I understood why certain things unfolded the way they did, even though they were extremely painful for me at the time. So, when we came to the section on eating disorders, I couldn't handle it. I had another breakdown because I could not coach people and try to help them while feeling like a hypocrite. So I paused the studies to focus on healing my eating disorder, which is still something that pops up out of the surface every now and then. Only now I can recognize it for what it is, and I have learned what works for me and what it means, because eating disorders are never about the food, right? And then after I had healed that, I went back and I enrolled, and then I completed it, and I felt the healing, which I knew would be an ongoing process. And that's when I started my coaching business, and I was teaching yoga, and I had combined these two. They are an amazing combination, powerful. And I started to bring in the energies of your chakras and link it to the physical health. And as I did that, my physical health improved so much. And a beautiful byproduct of that is that the mental health also improved. And most people will begin there on the physical level because it's the hardest to notice. And in all of this, I started writing a book. This was a childhood dream of mine, but also something that was dimmed a long time ago and suppressed and buried deep underground. So I found this again, and I started off just writing the book because I loved writing. And now I am on the brink of finishing this book. So I discovered this dimension of the mind, and I got into meditation, which also had always called to me, but I never really understood the concept. And I decided to go and pursue a course where I then qualified as a meditation coach with everything that I had going on. These are calls. These are soul calls. They are the glimmers. And I could not say no. It was something that I could not shake, no matter how busy I was. It was this path that found me. And so I started writing the book, which I had no structure for, but it was just purely channeled. It still is channeled. I don't do research. I don't plan. I sit down to write. and it comes through me. You will get to read it soon. Then I found embodiment, which was basically bringing out all of that stored trauma, which I knew sat in the body. I knew it because women would cry. I would cry in yoga postures. Immediately I knew. My soul knew these things. I knew it. I just didn't have the language for it until energy medicine found me. And this is shamanic energy medicine. I had always felt like a total outsider in my family. Everything that I was doing, me questioning our religion, me being the one that would do all of the things that nobody else would do. When I decided that this is my next step, even I couldn't understand it because shamanism was something that I had never considered. But what I have realized is that it is a part of my purpose and that I have been a medicine woman in many lifetimes. And this goes very much deeper than just my soul's knowings and my soul's experiences. But energy medicine gave me words to describe everything that I had thought and felt. Everything that I would say to people literally was in this course. It never felt like studying. All of this after the engineering did not feel like studying. It felt like remembering. And that is when I went into the nature of our being and why we're here, why you're here. You are a soul that came here to learn. You have soul experiences. And this is what I cover in my book, which has been unveiling itself to me. And I paused because the energy medicine training was demanding and enlightening. And I paused the book. And now I understand why I needed to pause it. It was the missing link. And that missing link led me to discover my energy body or the luminous energy field. So most of what I've been telling you is common knowledge. Right? Most of you know about yoga, and we know about psychology, and we know the body-mind connection, and we've experienced this for ourselves. In reality, all of that is a mirror of your energy field. Everything stores in your energy field, not just here of your life, but also of lifetimes before, and the generational stuff that you have inherited from your parents. These are things that your soul has decided to take on because it matches perfectly what your soul also needed to learn. So today we're talking about this course, and I don't want to dive too deeply into the nature of the soul, which is probably going to come, the nature of the soul and your soul's journey and oneness and all of that magical stuff. But I've been uncovering gifts in myself, and we all have these gifts. They are abilities that I felt were superhuman, but they're not, because we're so much more than humans. So the course that I created speaks about your 3 levels of existence. That is the physical body, your mind, that dimension that includes everything that moves through your mind. Your physical body is connected to your mind via your spinal cord. This is how the messages are being conducted. And coincidentally, your energy system also sits there. Your chakra system runs along your spine. And the last one is right here above your head. It's your crown chakra. And that crown chakra is linked to the universe, basically. There are levels to this, but that's what you need to know for now. And what I'm taking you through in that course is getting you in touch with your innate ability to heal. You are and always have been able to heal yourself. You were never designed to be on medication. You were never meant to be dependent on drugs. And if you look back in history, you will see that this has unfolded very slowly, where we were separated from this innate ability to heal and made to become dependent on external treatment, not healing, treatment. There's a very big difference. Chronic issues that form in the body that we think is just purely genetic is so much deeper. And as long as you go to that treatment path, you will never truly heal. It's been created to distract you. And if you look at the way our food has changed, the processed food that keeps your immune system feeling like it is defeating it has to fight some foreign stuff, which is just food. Allergies. Why is it's not normal for us to be allergic to food? It's because it's not actually food. All of the chemicals, all of the toxins, all of the neurochemicals that are everywhere you look, it's not by mistake. So in this world, we have darkness and we have light. When you choose to come into this human existence, you enter the world of duality. Happy, sad, dark, light. And this is how we know the opposite, right? You know darkness because of the light, and you know light because of the darkness. So it can't always be happy, 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 light, light, light. No, that's bypassing. That's not what we're doing here. In order for your soul to really learn a lesson and embody that learning, for it to be integrated so that you may move to the next step, you've got to live it. You've got to go through it. You can't just read about it. And that's why this course is so amazing, because it's interactive. This is not mine. It's not something I came up with. I'm bringing in ancient fire ceremony. This is not some kind of woo-woo thing that you need to be afraid of. We all have darkness and light within us. But what energy medicine entails is to bring out that which is in the darkness, because that's what we ran from. That's what we are avoiding. And illuminate it. And that's what we're going to do in this course. I have 3 modules: the dimension of the body, the dimension of the mind, and the dimension of your energy field. We go through a few videos together where you will get an understanding of how this process is working. And it ends with a fire ceremony specific to that level. You don't need anything of your own, because when we operate in energy in the field, you operate out of space and time. And I have been able to heal people on other continents, in other time zones, because it is also non-local. So when you look at your energy field, you look at the physical body, you look at the mind, and you look at the energy field, none is better than the other. And what I need to say is that this is not treatment for any illness. modern medicine is impeccable at treating illness. It has saved lives. And I'm not saying that you don't go to a doctor. No, please go to a doctor, because many of us are going to start there. As did I. You're going to start there, and you're going to use the medicine to treat you, to help you get to the stage where you are now healthy and balanced. Every single issue that you experience in your body is because the balance in your body has been disturbed. It's an imbalance, and your body is an adaptive machine, more complex and advanced than anything that has ever been built or created. It is adaptive, which means that it will adapt to function and survive no matter what you throw at it. But there is a time when the negative adaptation becomes too much and the body can't function anymore. Your body has a main focus of survival. It is not of thriving. And the definition of thriving is yours to determine. My thriving is never going to look like yours. And this is the problem, because now you have been taught to measure thriving by somebody else's standards. This is why I got into engineering. This is why everybody's killing themselves at jobs that steal their souls, right? This is why. Because you're working for things that might not even be important for you. So you need to get very clear on your values. And you need to honor what lights you up and brings you joy. And you cannot do that if you are carrying a bunch of heavy, dense energy. So your healing won't end here. This is not some miracle, but it's going to get you started. Because it's like the code that writes everything in your energy field that then dictates what's going to show up in the mind and what's going to show up in the body. So this root of every healing, this root of your most joyful, highest self is in your energy field. And this is why the ancient traditions that focused on your energy field, and it's running across cultures, which is not a coincidence. All over the world, it's running across cultures. The knowledge of your life force, of your energy, of your chakra system. It's a common element. And it is so for a reason. And the other reason it was pushed down, it was even punished at one stage and made illegal, is because it is the root of your power. If you hold the power to heal yourself, if you hold the power to create your greatest joy, then what would then be the purpose of some of the richest companies in this world? The pharmaceuticals. What would be then the purpose of the institutions that help you to treat these? Which there's nothing wrong with them, because they have serviced and fulfilled a need that has come up. But why did this happen in the first place? Why was it okay to spray chemicals on our food? Why was it okay to take the earth and rape it? Just purge and steal, and why? All of these ancient traditions have lived in right relationship with the Mother Earth. All of that was pushed away, was suppressed, was punished with all of these modern things that came into the place where we just are now breeding animals in feedlots and depleting the soil, and polluting the air that we have to breathe. Where did all of that come from? You need to start realizing all these things and start thinking for yourself. And you can't do that if you are stuck in the race. So this course is going to help you to get back into contact with that power. Because yes, you will treat the illness. And now there is integrative, preventative medicine, which I love. And there's holistic medicine, which is taking the whole body into consideration. It is not treating you as parts, because there's so much to you. It's not just your family history. It's not just what your blood says. No. How do you live your life? What are your relationships like? What was your mother's life like? Because all of that is having an effect on you. It is very spiritual, but at the same time, it is not separate from your physical life. It is not separate from your mind. It's not separate from your mental health. You are a cyclical being. That's another thing that's been robbed from you. And then pushing this fear of death has been forcing us to do some very stupid things. Numbing, running away from. Forgetting that we have all the time in the world because we're actually immortal. Your energy field is immortal. It just moves from one skin to the next. Now, when you take the course, you're going to start with the physical body. And the beauty of the course is that you can do this over and over and over again. You can listen to the videos. I've got PDFs in there that you can print and you can work with, and you can work on integrating it. And there's no perfect. There's no, I'm done with the course and now I'm all healed and I'm perfect. No, because you are always going to be healing. But when you remove those big, core, heavy, dense energies that you are carrying, to some degree, you become more free. You bring back more balance to your system. And when you do that, now your body can focus on being the healing machine that it was always meant to be. And I'm not just talking about the body here. And I'm not just talking about the mental health either. These things dictate everything in your life, your finances, your relationships, every single thing. And all of this is your body, your mind, your soul in this human experience, a consciousness that you are a channel of that is expressing as you. You are important, you are valuable, you are worthy, and your soul, it came here for a very specific purpose. All of these heavy, dense energies are stealing you from your purpose. They are keeping you busy and distracted. And there are darker forces that don't want people to be healthy. They want the codependency because it makes them rich. They want you to believe in a power outside of you so that you will forget that you are an element of power and that you have abilities that you have never experienced before. So when you start to clear out these heavy energies, you now bring back calibration to your field. And when that happens, you can start receiving messages because your energy centers are blocked. When you open them up, your crown here, which is depicted across all religions, that crown above the head, appearing like a halo, that's your crown chakra. That's what it is. When you open this up, you now have access to your higher self. When I do energy healing sessions, I am communicating with your higher self. And I can see what is no longer serving you and what needs to be shed. And that's what this whole course is about. It's you shedding. Now, why fire? Why a fire ceremony? Fire is instant transformation. Fire is literal alchemy. It is transforming darkness into light. And everything is energy. Everything is a conversion of one form of energy to another. It is there in my course, and it's also there in my book. We are going to bring out all of these things, and you don't even need the words for it. This is the magic of energy. You don't need the words. It is a vibration. It is a frequency. And the reason certain things are getting to you is because you have these kind of dark spots in your field and you have affinities. So when you are tired, when you are stressed, when you are experiencing those negative emotions like shame and anger, yes, they all do have a purpose. They are sending you messages, but they also weaken your energy field. And they keep you from your higher purpose. Not that something is wrong with you, not that something is broken. That's what you've been told. You're not broken. You're just finding your way back. You came here to forget and to be lost, right? Because you become in here as children and we have all of the dreams and we're fearless. And then everything gets slowly buried. And then you go on that journey of finding it again. And that's what this is. So you are going to end each module with the fire ceremony where everything comes out. Whatever you are ready to release. And remember, this will look different for everybody. What's magical about this and profound is that it will meet you where you are. And this is how your soul's evolution works. Nobody is going to ascend or evolve exactly the same. Everything meets you where you are because you are a micro of the macro. Now you release these and you release them and you start to feel lighter and you start to see things that you weren't seeing before because you're not carrying around a ton of bricks. You are flowing. Energy is meant to be flowing. You touch that divine essence of yourself existing out of space and time. Yes, everything will manifest here in space and time. And I also speak about these three worlds. Your lower world, your middle world, which is very much this physical body where you're living now, and in your upper world. You've got to call in all of the stuff of your higher purpose and manifest it here. And that's what this does. You are releasing. It's a constant release. And then when you release the old, the heavy, the dark, you now create space for the new and the light. And you start calling in those. You start listening to the glimmers because you have the space to do it. Your body is not stressed and exhausted and depleted and angry and sad. And yes, that will come. But it will shake you less. It will not debilitate you. And continue with your medical treatments, continue with your therapy because they all have their place in your journey. But fire appeals to something within us that is ancient, way past the ancestors that you know and can remember. Fire is energy. And that transformation that you feel on such a visceral level, you don't even need to understand it. You don't need to explain it. You just need to allow it. And when this frequency, when your frequency changes, everything around you starts changing. Your body starts changing. Your mind starts changing. Your relationships, your responses, your reactions, everything lies in your energy field. And it is my purpose to take you back to this power. It is my purpose now as all of these veils are being lifted, all of that conditioning, you know you have sensed it. If you are here, you know you've sensed it. Now you get to tap into that power and you illuminate those dark places and you call in those missing soul parts, because now you're no longer dependent on others. You're an adult. You hold the power. You get to be everything that you wished you had. The thing is, you've always been able to, you just have been removed from it. Your light has been dimmed. How many of us are afraid of success? We feel like we're not worthy. There are no boxes. There's only these boxes that they're an illusion. And your job is to break through them. Not with force, not with anger, but with surrender, trust, love, compassion. Your true nature of love and trust has been taken away from you. We're told that we need to live afraid, that we need to do things to protect ourselves. In the laws, in the universal laws, there is no such thing. There's no difference between you contracting a virus or you getting shot by a gun. These are things you can't run from. These are things you can't manipulate, and these are things that you cannot find loopholes around. You need to clear karma, which you're carrying sometimes with attachments to other people. We need to cut those energy draining cords, right? And then as you clear that karma, you reset your energy field, and then you start calling in the higher purpose, why your soul came here. So let's not wait for lifetimes. Let's not delay this thing. Let's get it started. Let's get your healing started. Let's fast track it. Because your soul knows it's ready. And I'm here to help you. So I am so excited for you. I wish you all the best with the course. Please reach out to me. I also do one-on-one healing sessions. If that is something that you are feeling called to, this is where we go very deep. We are going to get into very specific issues. If that is something that calls to you, you can message me. This is what I do. It's what I love. It's what I live for. It's my purpose. And I also have a new exciting thing, which is my gatherings, where we will connect. Oh, in the energy field. Us connecting together and joining consciousness is so powerful. The issue is that all around the world and in the past, we've been connecting with the wrong stuff, right? Collective consciousness of bad news, negativity, death, danger, those kind of things. When you create in a high frequency, you create a web, a wave that has the potential to jump timelines, to heal wounds that have existed for millions of years. You have that ability. You are a drop in the ocean, but you're also the ocean. I think it was Rumi that said that. Go do the course and then join my community. Let's meet, let's connect. Because we are a soul family. We have met before. If you feel a recognition, if you feel resonance, then we're meant to come together. This is where the healing begins. On my gatherings, I'm going to do meditations, activations, healing, and I'm going to teach you how to go deeper and become your own greatest healer, because I don't want you to need me. The culture and the dependency of needing someone outside you, the expert, the guru. No, that's going to end. You were always meant to be your own guru. You were meant to trust yourself. You were meant to be able to channel your highest destiny. That's your nature. You've just been separated from it. And this is where we journey back. We do it together. We hold hands. And we don't create some kind of desperate need. No. The idea is to get you to not need me. So I'm just so grateful that I have this opportunity. And I'm so looking forward to meeting you out of space and time, because we were always meant to connect. The light in me sees the light in you.